On this week's show, Peloton is giving away a tread and new games are being tested on the Row.
Plus Peloton discounts on Amazon, a global peace meditation, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Prewitt.
Welcome to episode 149 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I am John Prewitt, joined as always by my co-host Amanda Siegel, and also Chris Lewis is with us too. Hello, Chris and Amanda. Are you there?
Hey. I am here. You're like, how are you there? Hey, John.
Hello.
I am here. Yeah, good to see you. You got lots to share with us later on in the show. We want to hear all about your escapades.
Tidbits about Peloton on tour.
I know. I started assigning the spots. I was like, oh my God, John has to talk about Chicago. I mean, it's like, what am I putting me there for? So I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. There are lots of questions that I'm sure listeners are wanting to hear. And we're here to report the news of Peloton. And that is what we are going to do today. And I do want to just kind of set that off as a disclaimer. So we are here to tell you what's going on in the Peloton world over the last week. So that is what we're going to do. And I guess before we get started with the news, we would like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is recorded on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
Yes, and you can also listen to us if you're on the go, in the car, wherever, and you just want to hear the audio. We're on all traditional podcast platforms, of course. Just search Pelo Buddy TV, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit notifications, ring that bell so you never miss an update or an episode. And also, please leave us a nice review. We love getting those 5-star reviews that we read from time to time on the show, and we also appreciate the feedback that we get on ways that we can improve video, the audio quality, enhance the show, and different ways that we've done over the course of these 149 episodes now.
Yeah, and with that being said, I do want to comment that I know we have not had timestamps on YouTube. It is because our producer, Chris Giles, is off getting married and has been very busy with his wedding. So we do apologize, Mr. Bank Guy. We will make sure that we have those back up for you guys, probably not this week because he is on honeymoon, but hopefully next week. But we always like to make sure that we can still bring you a show, and we know that some of you like to be able to see our mugs on YouTube, and we appreciate that. So we wanted to still be able to produce a show and give you a show on YouTube and not just on podcast version. So I did just want to acknowledge that we have seen that comment, and it is something that we will take care of. And then finally, folks, of course, we're on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter X. Just search for Pelo Buddy and follow us on all those platforms for all of your latest news. And I will say, I was very surprised. There was a chat in one of the member groups, and somebody said something about hearing something on Pelo Buddy, and someone goes, "Pelo Buddy, what's that?" I'm like, come on, guys, you don't know what Pelo Buddy is? Seriously? And you're like in the JSS group? So yes.
I always get tickled because I always like to see when people in different groups, Peloton groups, they post a link to Pelo Buddy. It's like we're like that first news source.
Isn't that funny? I've been noticing.
I do appreciate that. Tickles.
Me too, John. And it's funny because I have been noticing that lately as well. So
especially when someone talks about class purges, someone inevitably always posts the class purge Pelo Buddy link about that whole process.
And always a big thanks to anyone who always shares, us as a source. We always appreciate helping get the word out there. We share the news, but having people reshare it always helps. So thank you to anyone who has shared that out there.
Awesome. Well, I guess we are going to get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
And I will kick it off. Did Amazon's Prime Big Deal Days sale that ran from October the 10th to the 11th attract new customers, making it an opportune time for potential buyers to invest in Peloton's fitness equipment and accessories? Well, there was no question that Tuesday and Wednesday was the time to do it, with Amazon featuring significant discounts on various Peloton products. The Peloton Guide was available for $95. That's marking it down 50% from its usual price of $195. The original
it started at what, $295?
Oh,
So
yeah,
if
back when it was first released.
If you really cussed up when it first came out.
If you spent the money and then don't use it at $295. Okay, let's move on.
I got mine for free, so.
Yeah, well, not everyone's John Prewitt. The Peloton bike was offered for a 24% discount. It was at $1,095, and the Peloton Bike Plus was available for $1,995. So that's a 20% discount from its regular price of $2,495. Additionally, folks could pick up various Peloton accessories. There was dumbbells, weights, shoes, yoga blocks, mats, were all available at discounted prices. However, it is important to note that the Peloton Tread and Peloton Row, which are not being offered by Amazon, so of course it does make sense, were obviously not on sale. But yeah, it was definitely quite a fireside, a quick sale for folks wanting to go out and get into jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, one thing, we don't know, Amazon has their own discretion to price these, so we're not sure if, for example, the Guide is going to be priced this low on the upcoming, presumably, Black Friday sales. But one thing for members to consider is if you are an app member and you're considering that more expensive App Plus membership, which is going to be $24 a month if you do it month to month, that's actually the same price as the Guide monthly membership, with the difference being the Guide monthly membership lets you have 5 members on that membership. So if you're in a household where multiple people are using that and you're wanting the App Plus membership, it might be worth considering getting the Guide just so you can get that Guide membership, so you can get more than one person on that membership. So just something to keep an eye out for as Black Friday's coming up if the Guide goes on sale again.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Thanks for that tidbit, Chris.
Yep.
Well, Peloton is giving away a tread. So they just launched at the beginning of October, on October 2nd. It's running through the end of October, October 31st. But if you go to www.onepeloton.com/win-a-tread, basically all you're prompted is your zip code and your email address to enter. Some of the eligibility requirements and rules of the contest you want to know. It's for first-time subscribers to Peloton marketing emails. Now, Chris, I interpreted that as being brand new to Peloton. So if you already have a bike or some other equipment, you probably already subscribed or opted into marketing emails, and you are not eligible in that case, correct?
That email would not be opted in, but if you happen to have a second email address, the way the terms are worded is that second email address would be eligible, is the way I read the terms and disclaimer. Of course, we're not lawyers. They have lawyers to read this, so, but it's worth a try. It's just your email address that you'll get a second email from, so.
So if you're currently a Peloton member, it might be advisable to use a different email address than what's associated with your main account.
That is how I would read that, yes.
Yeah. So it's only open to individuals who live in the contiguous United States and District of Columbia. So Hawaii and Alaska are not eligible, unfortunately. You have to be 18 years or older, which is a typical requirement, and you only get one entry. And those who enter the contest obviously are agreed to receive marketing emails from Peloton. So check it out. Yeah, it's still a couple weeks left, obviously, in the contest, but obviously it's for the Peloton Tread, not the Tread Plus. Peloton has stated, according to the rules, they'll randomly select the winner on or around November 3rd. The prize is non-transferable, and in addition to the Tread device, which currently retails for $29.95, The winner will also receive a check for $1,285 intended to assist with the tax liability related to the prize, which is nice because whenever you get a prize like on a game show or wherever, you're always hit with that tax bill on whatever the value is of it. So it's kind of nice
Wow.
Peloton to cover some taxes there. Of course, the all access membership is required along with any hardware purchase, so you are on the hook for that separate monthly fee, which is not included in the sweepstakes. And yes, the prize is the standard tread, not the original Tread Plus, which is resume sales in the 2023 holiday season, which is right around the corner.
I'm curious, is there a reason they're doing this? Was it something specific that they
No,
had
yeah,
stated, or?
I haven't seen any like any marketing tie-in to it. It just seems totally random.
I imagine this might be like a targeted social media campaign, but they're mainly targeting it towards people who are new to Peloton. So they have our accounts tied to our social account, so they're able to filter it so that we would not see that paid advertising. So they're really targeting it mostly to people who would be brand new to the Peloton community, would be my guess.
Interesting. And I guess it's also interesting that they're giving away a tread and not a bike, which I like because it's just showing that they are definitely diversifying and it's, everyone always says it's not just about, it's not a bike company anymore. There's so many more modalities that folks can, be a part of.
Yeah.
So I think
they seem to give away, they've given away bikes all the time, but a tread.
Right.
They give away bikes as part of the, what is that where you recommend somebody to receive
the comeback program?
The comeback program, yeah. They've never given away a tread as part of that program, so it's nice to see them switching up the hardware.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up, Peloton has partnered with Ergatta. It is a company known for its gaming-focused rowers. So to beta test 2 new video games, Meteor and Races, on the Peloton Row. These games are part of a limited test and are not available to all Peloton Row members. Meteor is a single-player side-scrolling game where users follow a structured workout plan, while Races allows users to compete against other members. The games are designed to offer a gamified fitness experience, just like Lane Break does with the tread and the bike, with personalized goal and real-time feedback. The partnership is interesting, though, as Ergatta also produces hardware, but their current focus is solely on the video games without instructor-led classes. So an interesting kind of where this is going to go. I'd never heard of Ergatta as far as a rowing company.
I've seen them before. They're water rowers, right? They use like a water, like this big, when you row, you see the water swishing around. That's what creates the resistance. It's kind of an interesting rower piece of hardware.
Got it.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, like, people seem to like this a little bit better than Lane Break, just from their initial trying it out. Now, this doesn't mean that Lane Break would never come to Row. That doesn't necessarily mean that. But from what I've seen, and I actually don't have this beta yet, unfortunately, but I've gotten some reports and some videos of it. Meteor seems like a Lane Break turned on its side, so that rather than going down the track this way, you're going this way and just going up and down the lanes there. And then the Races one, you're actually competing against real Peloton members and their performance. Yeah. It doesn't seem to be live, but you will get matched to somebody and you'll be against their performance. And from what people were saying is that actually motivated them to go a little bit harder than they would have otherwise. So if you need some extra motivation, that can be something to go and try.
You've really gotten into the rowing. I'm surprised that you weren't asked to beta it. But
but I mean, this beta that's right now isn't one that people opted into. The people who got it just showed up for them. So this isn't one where people are breaking NDAs or have to sign up through the test field program. It was literally it's a small public beta. We're going to throw it on these devices for these people to try and slowly expand it. So similar to what they did with entertainment, where some people got it first, a couple weeks later someone else got it. So it's kind of a slow rollout, and it's just anyone's guess who's going to get it when.
Makes sense.
So do you have it on your Row right now, Chris?
No.
Not as in the last 24 hours, no.
So is it it's in the More section if you click that tab?
Yep, there will be a panel on your homepage down a little bit, or if you go to the More tab, there will be one for Meteor and one for Races. So they're kind of two separate modules there next to Entertainment and Scenic Rows and Just Row.
I gotta check it. I haven't powered on my rower in a couple weeks.
Me neither.
This guy's all about rowing now. I mean, I'm still
I know.
bitter. He beat me on a rowing class recently. I'm like, what is going on
Right,
here? Somebody beat
right.
me.
Yeah.
It was a good company. It was close till the end, though. You know, I sniped you at the end.
I was going as hard as I could. I was like, no, that bastard.
Next time.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well,
I like the friendly competition.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, we've got some little update in the iOS app on Peloton. Their music tab feature as of October 2023. This little feature is now on the iOS app. It was first added to the Android app the previous month in September of 2023. But it's a playlist feature, so it allows members to save songs. You know, when you would heart music during a ride on your hardware, this is where you can go view the cumulative list of all this music that you've hearted over whatever time period since they added that feature on on-demand classes. You know, when you click on the music and then you can heart the song, that'll now show up in the iOS app for you, so you can kind of view that link. It then can be synced to Spotify or Apple Music. However, until now, this feature was only accessible on the Bike Plus, the Tread Plus, and the Rower, the hardware. So basically, you had to access your profile on the hardware to see the saved music on the Peloton platform. But on the app, you can now see it on this new music tab. So selecting the tab, it'll display the complete list of songs that you've hearted, saved from any workouts that you've done. And you can also manage the list of songs right on the app by tapping the heart button, so you can remove that, deselect it. The only thing that I thought, I mean, it's nice, but the only thing is you can't really do anything with it. So clicking on it
You can't
doesn't,
make up a playlist.
Right, clicking on it won't take you into like your Spotify playlist or your Amazon Music or your Apple. So it's kind of like you can see it, but you can't really do anything with it.
Yeah, and I know some people were wishing you could click on the name of the song and kind of jump immediately to any classes that had that song. That's not a feature right now either.
All right.
Yeah, so there's no like linking to it yet. So that would be nice if you could easily open it up in Spotify or your iTunes Music and then add it from there to whatever playlist.
But this
might right now, it's a start.
Yeah, I was going to say, this might just be laying the framework, so they get this out and then they can layer these features on top of it down the road. So you got to start somewhere.
Hope so. Yeah, I do hope so, because that is something that I've often been on a ride and just loved that entire playlist. And you kind of just want to make it, that one playlist for yourself that you can stick in the car or whatever. So I hope that they do end up doing something like that. That'll be nice. That'll be good. All right. Well, Peloton has introduced a new series of walking meditation classes. So they've expanded their meditation offering. These classes are designed to be taken while walking, providing a different approach compared to traditional seated meditation sessions. Peloton went ahead and released 11 new classes as part of the series, and it features Mariana, Anna, Dennis, Kirra, Chelsea, and Ross. The classes range from 10 to 20 minutes and are currently available within a dedicated collection named Walking Meditation. So it's easy for folks to be able to find them. The classes aim to help members create equilibrium in body and mind, focusing on surroundings and staying present while moving mindfully. So truthfully, John, Chris, while I love my meditations, and I've made it very clear to everybody how they truly have gotten me, just to places that I'm so thankful for, I do find it a little frustrating, though, because if I'm going to go for a walk outside, I want to get my walking minutes in and not my meditation. So I'm definitely a little conflicted as to doing these outside and walking.
So it counts towards your meditation count, not your walking.
Yeah.
No, it counts towards your walks. They're loaded as walks in the system.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah,
Oh, I totally missed that, Chris.
the only thing to know is that right now it does not track your distance outside. So even though it's a walk, it won't count your mileage for you. Hopefully that's a tweak, but they are loaded as walks. So you would
Chris,
get that.
That's why we need you on the show, because I was so frustrated, and I thought to myself, oh, okay.
To do your due diligence, Amanda.
Interesting. Okay, so it is showing as is it showing as a walk? Yeah, it is showing as a walk.
So it would list as like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
It doesn't show anything. Okay.
And
I feel a little bit better about that.
And the one other thing.
Does it show the map of your route?
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, I think there's.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, I think hopefully they'll update that. And one other quick thing to mention: you mentioned they're in the collection, so people can easily find it. Right now, that's actually the only way to find it. So you won't find these in their normal on-demand library. You have to go to that collection. So if you're looking for them and think I can't find them, just go to the collection. That's the only way to find them right now.
So in the app, you go to collections and then
walking meditations.
And are they? So for the app only, or can you do this on the tread?
App only.
Okay.
It's like an audio. Audio.
Outdoor audio.
It's outdoor audio. I got to tell you, it was beautiful. Of course, I took Mariana's, and it was beautiful. And I liked the fact that I could, stay awake and listen to the whole thing and not fall asleep. But I'm so happy that, yes, once I think it measures out your distance and what you've done and that type of thing, I think I'll enjoy it even more. But when I looked at it and it just showed me, I didn't see the walking thing. I saw the meditation, I didn't recognize that it said walking and not meditation next to it. All right, that makes me feel a little bit better. So I guess instead of listening to a music class, you're listening to words in your head. And
so just to clarify, it only counts towards your walking. It doesn't count towards your meditation number. Okay.
Nope. Correct, Chris. Cool. Doesn't count for both.
Correct.
You should double it up. You should get both. You should get a point for walking and a point for meditation.
I know, because the walk plus run classes only count towards your walking.
Correct.
You don't get it. Doesn't count towards
half
the run.
of the time they're much harder than a walk, and they tend to be more of a run. And I almost kind of get frustrated with those because what it does is it pushes your PR up. So. If you're doing a walk plus run, then you're kind of your walk. So you're trying to get to that PR of a walk plus run. So
you have to reset that PR.
What we have to worry about, right? All right, I won't say it. Okay.
First world problems.
Well, I wasn't going to say use it, but yes, but yes. All right. Well, Tuesday, October 10th. Which is a very special day to me because it is my day I became a mother. It is my twin's birthday on October 10th. Just the other day, 27 years ago, was World Mental Health Day. And as they've done in the past, Peloton commemorated the day by releasing some very special classes, a total of 7 across the various modalities, including cycling, running, meditation, shadowboxing, and yoga. And they have gone ahead and they did 5 of these classes were directly added to the on-demand library, while only 2 happened live, while members could participate in them. Folks will have an opportunity to earn a mental health awareness badge, and Peloton has also organized a dedicated collection, as we were talking about for the walking meditations, that includes these classes specifically, along with the content from previous, years of all the other mental awareness month classes. So it's, easily accessible for members. So, an interesting time and definitely needed for a lot of people this past week. So the timing of Mental Health Day was kind of, certainly relevant.
It was well timed.
Yeah. So I haven't taken any of the classes yet. This has not been a week that I've really worked out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to probably jumping on and getting onto some of those. Which leads you into John.
That segues into the recent global peace meditation that Peloton had announced. They acknowledged the tragedy and the pain in light of the recent terrorist attacks that happened in Israel, or that are currently underway in Israel right now. They shared the news via the One Peloton account on Instagram, and Peloton's statement read, "In the wake of the recent terrorist attacks in Israel, we want to acknowledge the tragedy and pain so many are suffering. Violence against innocent civilians, Jewish, Palestinian, and Israeli, is heartbreaking. Tomorrow, which was, I guess it happened on Thursday, so this announcement came out Wednesday. They said, tomorrow we will host a peace meditation to hold space for ourselves and each other." And it took place at 8 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, the 12th. It was a 10-minute peace meditation. It was led by Anna Greenberg, and I did see several instructors. There were people in the studio. It looked like it was mostly instructors.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Wilpers, Olivia, Ross, Allie Love, Kirsten, Maddie, Adrian, Bex, and Kristen McGee all joined in, I believe.
As well as utilizing the instructors over across the pond. And a lot of people were questioning why the drop took so long for it to actually drop on demand. And they actually had a group of 8 international, the UK and German instructors. So there was Jeffrey, Bradley, John, Jermaine, Eric, Mila, Hannah, and Cliff, that were also part of it, and they kind of cut into them every now and again.
So the image would switch over to the other studio
on the recorded version. So not on the
not on the live. If you took it live,
I did the live and didn't see that, so I haven't redone it on demand. So that yeah, good to know.
So sorry, Chris, I thought you did know that. I apologize.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
So that came out. And again, I mean, I gave this to John to talk about because clearly it's emotional. Most of you watch the show. There's no secret that I'm Jewish, and this has affected me as well as it's affected everybody else. So
I know. I mean, I had a lot of people message me, asking me to, like, why hasn't Peloton, made any announcement? And I know in a lot of instructor groups, there's a lot of Jewish members, especially in Jen Sherman's instructor group. A lot of them, feel like the Jewish community is not recognized as like one of the holidays that Peloton recognizes. I mean, there's so many ethnic holidays that they recognize, but they don't recognize Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah. So I know there was a lot of frustration there, and I don't know if Peloton felt the pressure or if they were just kind of waiting to see what they would do. But I think, I'm glad they finally spoke up and said something, because I know Jen Sherman was very much emotional. You could see how affected she was on her classes this week.
Yes.
And how, you could see that she wanted to sort of speak up, but she really was restrained, trying not to, because people jump down her throats whenever she makes, some sort of statement about Palestine or Israel.
I think this does go back to a couple years ago when she was vocal and really was annihilated by it.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I respect the instructors that in their own way shared how they felt. I'm a huge lover of Maddie, and Maddie was just fantastic, and that helped, and to both sides. I mean, this isn't sides. I'm not even going to go there. It was lovely to see that some of them did. I think that they were muzzled. I think initially they were probably told not to say anything, just to avoid backlash. People are saying it's a fitness company; they shouldn't have to. But as John said it, and then again, I wanted it to come from you rather than me, because it is very personal for me. That it needs to be acknowledged. It's a very, very sad time for the world. It's not just the Jews. This is just a sad time for the world, where we live in. People didn't send their kids to school this week. People didn't, so it's, and this is our place of, and Peloton is our place of that. Why do they have why do they give us classes on Mental Health Day, awareness? Because it helps our mental health. And it almost took a lot of us away from the platform because they weren't speaking out. I know for myself, I mean, I just didn't want to get on this week because I was, whereas I should have, because I think it would have cleared my mental health. So yeah, I felt so, I felt so torn for Anna. It must have been so hard for her to have done this meditation. I could definitely see it in her. I don't know if you noticed that too, Chris. She was moved.
Is Anna Jewish?
Anna's Jewish.
Yeah.
Anna is
I mean,
Jewish.
I think Greenberg.
So yeah. So anyway, again, I am pleased that Peloton did acknowledge it, that they did, look at it as a global peace meditation, because for the world, we're all looking for the same thing. We're all looking for the same thing, and that is to live in a world of peace. And so appreciate that they did actually say something and do something. So yeah. So yeah. Again, I think I would have been annihilated if I didn't say something, but I did want to be respectful to Chris and Chris's show. And this isn't about, me. This is, as I said at the beginning of the show, it's about sharing the Peloton news. So waited for it to be done in this particular segment, but we will move on. And that is to say that I feel for everybody on both sides. And I appreciate the amazing outpouring of love that I have received over this last week, which has been incredibly overwhelming. So folks that don't know me, but know me from the show, and I really, really appreciate that. So thank you. All right. Colombian singer Feid. Never heard of him, but I guess he's popular.
Yeah, me neither.
He participated in an in-person special Peloton Artist Series ride at PSNY. It was hosted by none other than Camila Ramon. I mean, would we expected anything else? And the event was part of a celebration for Latinx culture and Feid's new album. The studio was adorned with special green lighting, and Feid was seen, on a custom neon green Peloton bike.
Which was in that photo that we posted a while back of various color schemes of the Bike Plus, remember? So
I do remember that.
That's
now.
where it's from.
Yeah. All right. Well, Feid got to ride on it. He engaged with the class by, conversing with Camila and even singing at points during the ride. It was a unique class, but it was not open to public booking. So folks were able to join the class if they had been invited. So it was done through special invitation. Still want to know how we get those special invitations. But the class is now accessible on demand. And from what it looked like, again, I haven't done it, but from what it looked like, it was a party at PSNY. So he seems to be very fun, and his music is, I love Latin music. So his music definitely calls to me. So I would like to be able to do that. So that sounded kind of fun. And then the German community also got a new artist series with Falco. Peloton asked the German community, are you ready to rock the leaderboard with like Amadeus? And members got to rock to the Austrian world star's biggest hits on the bike.
But this was my story.
Oh, was it?
It's all right. I mean, I'll chime in because I did one of them.
It wasn't. It was mine. I gave you class purges. Did you not see that? Your class purges.
Wait,
did you miss
you flipped
that?
the script on me? Oh.
Last night.
Wait,
all right, folks. Every now and again we mess up. We messed up. I'm so sorry, John.
I didn't know you flipped the script on me. I saw you at class purges yesterday. That's what
I apologize. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you that the star Falco that John did do, because I saw Jeffrey give you a nice little shout out, right? You did Jeffrey's run.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, fun. there was a 20-minute Falco ride with Charlotte Wiedenhorn. There was a 20-minute Falco.
Wiedenhorn.
Oh, what am I doing? All right. Wiedenbach. There was a 20-minute run with Jeffrey McKeechan. I will never get your name wrong, Jeffrey. Sorry, Charlotte. And there was an upper body strength with Eric Jaeger. So again, obviously an artist I had never heard of, but the German.
Oh yeah, he's really he's got excited. The Rock Me Amadeus and
so that was
the
his
Commissaire.
song.
Okay. Some
I'm
of
sure if I
those were
heard the
like his
music,
biggest
it would,
hits.
they would probably be songs that I would recognize, but I wouldn't have put the name. And again,
Yeah.
we've said this 1,000 times. This is what we love about the platform, is that it gives you an opportunity to get familiar with songs and stuff that you would not usually have have in the past.
He was big in like the 80s, pop music era and the dance clubs. So Jeffrey's Run had all of his hits. So it was super fun.
It was
It was,
fun.
it was a
Yeah,
20-minute. Yeah, it was great.
It looked like
I enjoyed it.
was fun. It looked like it was fun. All right. Well, have you not done class purges? Because I actually did have something on here. Do you want me to go ahead and just take it?
Yeah, I was just going to wing it from the Chris's weekly write up, but yeah, you already have some notes.
I'll wing it. It's basically, Peloton, another week happened and another week of class purges. This week's class library maintenance removed most class film between July the 28th and August the 11th. And it was done on October the 6th. Certain classes, again, such as Power Zone rides, Artist Series, and other specialty themed content was kept, notably a 60-minute run with Bex Gentry and a 75-minute yoga flow with Anna Greenberg. There was also a 30-minute German pop ride with Irene Schultz, a name obviously we haven't heard in a while, who has been off the platform for a while, but they retained that class. So obviously a really popular, must be a really popular class on the platform. So yeah, they are continuing to do this.
Yeah, and some of the, they keep a couple artist series as well. And this time, some of the artist series that fell in there was Ellie Goulding, Max Richter, Comet. Yeah, Emma Lovewell had a listening party. There was a Spotify housework. And actually, for people who are around back then, there were some special classes for, at the time, it was called Peloton, and it was kind of a community contest where people joined different teams, and there were some special Peloton
Legends
classes.
Of Fun.
Yep, Breakthrough Crew.
That was my team.
Yeah, but they had a special couple classes that they ended up saving, so those are still there for anyone who wants to go back and take those. Those were saved this round.
Nice. I have my Legends of Fun glass water bottle still that a member was kind enough to send me.
That was actually a fun
time.
Little thing that they did. Yeah,
I gotta admit, I was very surprised they didn't do it again, just because it seemed to really get all of the community into it, and it seemed like it'd be easy to replicate. Don't do the full scale thing. They could have replicated it and tried it again.
Yeah, and they had certain instructors they assigned, because I remember Eric Yeager was in Legends of Fun, and I can't even remember who else was in there.
You could pick your group, right?
Yeah, you picked.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you picked, right? Yeah.
And this was
before everybody had a color scheme.
And this was before the leaderboard tags were official, so you just put it in your city
location
field. You put it in your location field. But if they actually did it now, they could do sort of like they do in Ride to Greatness. They could do scores based on it, and they could do a lot more stuff with it now if they ever did it again.
It's funny you actually said that, because I think that they kind of spun off the Ride for Greatness, I guess, from that maybe. Maybe that was kind of, because they didn't do that the same year.
They kind of took it. They took it to the competitive level, but they did from that with tags.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. Peloton hosted a virtual community event with Camila Ramon and Hannah Corbin this past Thursday, October 12th, in honor of Latin and Hispanic Heritage Month. They sent an email to members inviting them to register. It took place at 10 a.m. from 10 a.m. to 10:35 Eastern Time in the morning last Thursday. And it contained a field to submit when you registered. It contained a field to submit your leaderboard name and any questions that they were screening for ahead of time that would be asked at the event. They held a similar virtual community event last year in celebration of Latin and Hispanic Heritage Month with Hannah and Mariana Fernandez that time. And so far in 2023, there have been numerous virtual community events. There's been events around Mother's Day and Black History Month. So yeah, I didn't have a chance. Did you join in on that? Either of you?
No, I didn't.
No, I got the email to watch the replay, but haven't had a chance yet. But I've still got it in my inbox to check it out later.
Perfect, because you had registered for it. I think I only sent it to you if you registered, right? Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Got it. Got it.
But I think actually
Alright,
you can go to the event site and register after the fact and still get the replay.
Still see
So
it.
if you missed out on it, I think you can still go sign up and act like you're signing up, and you might get the replay sent to you. So that's an option as well for people.
All right, good, because I'm sure that was fun getting to hear them. Nice. All right, John, we want to hear all about it.
Peloton on tour, Chicago, or Skokie, Illinois, happened a week ago. And so Jackie and I went, and we took Jackson, and we stayed just around the corner at a Hampton Inn in Skokie. But it kicked off on Thursday. There was sort of this all-day separate event at the Lululemon store, actually, in the neighborhood where we used to live in Chicago, in Lincoln Park, which is a massive, I've never been in a Lululemon space that size, but it's 2 stories, massive space. They have, some private rooms, I guess, where they teach yoga classes. So they had that room, that makeshift yoga room with the Lululemon apparel that just recently launched. But Chelsea Jackson Roberts was there. They all had little separate stations where you could kind of do like a meet and greet with a photo opportunity. So Hannah Frankson was downstairs. Adrian and Eric Yeager were kind of side by side together, which was kind of funny because everybody obviously was very excited to see Adrian, but then a lot of people kind of skipped over Eric.
Oh,
or they were waiting, or Eric was just kind of standing there because people were wanting to see Adrian first. But they all took it in. Eric was a great sport. He took it in stride.
I was just going to say, Amanda would never do. Amanda would never do anything like that, so she doesn't understand that at all.
Sorry, Chelsea, I love you.
Yeah, Chelsea Jackson Roberts. She was up on the second floor. And I think that's all the instructors. I didn't get a chance to speak to Chelsea Jackson Roberts, but we waited in line. We got there at the end.
You had to register. Well, you could. Was it a fee?
It was a free event. You could register. You could RSVP for it, but I think that was mainly just so Peloton could have an idea of numbers and foot traffic. It was completely open, so it's not like if you RSVP'd, you were given any kind of priority.
Got it.
It was an all-day thing from about 9 to 1 in the afternoon.
The interesting thing is they did specifically say it was to gauge interest, but they still cut off RSVPs pretty early. So I'm just wondering how much that should they have kept it open to actually get a better idea of interest. But like you said, anyone who showed up could go. So it ended up working for people who wanted to go. Just show up and you got to meet them. So,
and Peloton Studios posted some stories throughout the day from it, and people were lined up kind of right at the beginning of the morning at 9 a.m. when they let them in. We got there right at like the tail end, like it was just like almost 1 o'clock when it was kind of officially ending. So we got in line for Adrian. Adrian, got some pictures. Jackson had a great time with all the instructors. They seemed really like him. We got in line to see Hannah Frankson, and then they like cut us off. They're like, no, the line ends here. That's it. And so Jackson kind of went up and kind of got Hannah's attention, and she was totally enamored. And he gave her one of his little pieces of flair from, Crocs. If you wear Croc sandals, you can put these little, I don't know what you call them, these little like
widgets, not widgets.
Widgets or whatever.
Widgets or whatever.
Yeah. So he gave her one of his widgets, and then they had a fun little moment, and then she gave him a piggyback ride.
Did she realize he was your son?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She goes like, "Oh, I've met you, but I haven't met Jackie," pointing to her and Jackson. So they had a moment. And it was cute. And then later, I can't remember what else they had with the Lululemon launch that day. If there's anything else scheduled that day, but at the showroom, the events wise, they had a game night, and then in the evening on Thursday. And then earlier in the day, they had this meet and greet.
Yeah. Where
it was just, I guess, Cody and all the instructors that were part of this tour stop. Who else was it?
Logan,
Mariana,
and Susie.
Yeah. So they had, I guess, little stations set up in the showroom for
that showroom's
meet and
huge,
greets.
Though. That's a really, really. It seemed like a really big showroom. Is it?
It's a pretty deep. Yeah, it's a pretty deep space because they had a little stage set up there for the event we went to on Friday with tons of chairs. And then I think there's some private rooms. That was the back area was closed off for the instructor, so it was kind of curtained off. But I think they have some private rooms where you can take classes in private rooms on some of the hardware. But it's a pretty good size space.
So you were not at game night?
No.
Okay.
We're at game night. We went over there. We had dinner because the Old Orchard Mall. It's kind of like an outdoor mall. So it's kind of nice. There's lots of just outdoor spaces. There's a play structure. So we went to Uncle Julio's that night for Tex-Mex. And then the first event we went to was on Friday. That was the Cody X Tunde experience, where they were basically sitting on a couch in front of us on this little platform. And like they were sort of like interviewing each other, asking them random questions. And then they did, the smash or pass game. And then the events person who was
and then nothing else happened, right? That was it? Nothing else happened?
I was getting to that. So the events person, Paige Carlson with the Peloton events team, a few days before the whole event began in Chicago, she had said, hey, we would love to have you be a part of this little trivia game with Cody, where you have a competition who can identify instructor quotes.
And you said, no,
would you be up for that?
And you said, no, I definitely could never be sitting on a stage with Cody.
Yeah, right. So they had positioned me to ask the last question and then be invited up on stage. So I asked the question, I was like, Cody, who would win in a competition? And Tunde was like, Jumper, come up on stage, get up here. And then Cody was like, this is what we call the plant, everyone. So yeah, they went over the rules. And before we started, I said, you ready to get your wig snatched, Cody? And then I think I beat him in both little competitions. We had different quotes. There was like an Adrian quote, a Robin quote, Jen Sherman one where it was, like I'm officially a Swiftie now. And Cody got his hand up first, but he answered incorrectly. He said Emma. And I gave him a hard time. I was like, come on, man, you should know that. That's your bestie, Jen Sherman. And then afterwards I went back to my seat, and then all of a sudden they brought me back up again to do another like little competition with Cody quotes, like fill in the blank quote, like grab your towel, water, get your life together. So that was fun. And then Jackson, he got pulled into it. Yeah, he got pulled into it by Tunde because Tunde saw him calling out or saying something. She's like, you Jackson, get over here. So she brought him up and she's like, what is it like being John's son? And he said, it's a lot of sweat. And then she asked him, what does he think of like the Instagram videos I post? And then she says, do you have anything embarrassing to say about your father? And he said that when we're away at hotels, when there isn't a fan, sometimes I like to turn on the water when I'm pooping. And that got everybody falling over in laughter. So, yeah, it was a fun day. We took some pictures afterwards. They had like a little picture line after the whole thing was over. It was about an hour. And then the next day there was, so that night there was, that was Friday. So then I'm trying to remember, they had little classes. There was
and real quick, going back to the end of day Friday, Amanda, you mentioned it before, but the game night was that night as well. And just to mention, the activities there were Name That Tune, there was charades, and there was a little trivia thing there as well. So I think there were 3 games there, and you were split into teams. Tunde's team was the winner. That was just super quick recap of the game night.
A little less physical from the field day.
Yes.
With no one injuring themselves.
Mental competitions rather than physical competitions.
Right.
Yeah, the game night seemed kind of fun. It was like everybody was sort of like sitting, crisscross applesauce, like on their living room, carpet. And Cody's team, I don't know if they were like Cody's titty shakers or something like that.
Yeah, I think there were 5 different teams of 10 to 12, so there was about 60 people who were in attendance for that event.
Yeah, it looked like fun. The next day had some of the classes in the morning. There was there was yoga. There was a strength class. Yoga was obviously with Mariana. There was a strength class with Logan. and then a dance cardio with Cody, and they were all like, I think, 30-minute blocks.
I think Tunde taught the strength class, and Logan just joined Tunde for the strength.
Oh, I thought it was the other. I thought it was Logan doing the strength.
And you went to the cardio?
Yeah, we went to the dance cardio, and it was nice because Jackie and I just had tickets. We didn't have a ticket for Jackson, but they were totally welcoming with Jackson. He got to come in. We signed a waiver for him, and he got to fully participate in the dance cardio. He was right up front by the stage, and at one point, Cody looked over and was like, "Oh, Jackson's here. They're going to call CPS on me." Yeah, but it was fun. They gave you nice yoga mats, like Peloton branded, just black Peloton yoga mats. They weren't like the dual-sided, like the salmon color, but like they were nice yoga mats I've never seen before. But yeah, we got to take 3 of those home. And yeah, it went by quick. It was like 20 minutes, and we were already cooling down during the dance cardio. And then afterwards, they had like a little meet and greet with Cody and Tunde just outside with the Peloton backdrop right in front of the showroom, out in front by the front door. And then that night was the leaderboard awards that they had at the.
Did you go to that or no?
No, we headed home right after we got home Saturday night in Michigan.
Got it.
We headed home, right after that.
All right. So it seemed like it was a fun time, and I'm sure lots of people were very happy to meet Kenny Bania. So
so big shout out to Paige Carlson with the events team and Jen Cotter for helping me get tickets, because I tried on my own to get tickets and they were just all sold out. So I went crying to Jen Cotter, and she fixed me up with the events team person, and so they were real nice to allow me to get tickets for those two events that we went to.
No, Chris, nothing.
No, I mean,
you unmuted like you were going to say something, Chris.
No, I know. I was
sorry. Sorry, no.
That is very nice. Very nice. I'm glad to see that.
It was a fun weekend. We went to a couple of spots we used to like to eat when we lived in Chicago. So it was great. The hotel was nice. There were some other Peloton people we met there that had come in from Wisconsin. Oh, I met Susan Yang finally in person, who's one of the admins for Maddie's Magic Makers.
Nice.
So that was nice. Yeah, and I met a couple other people that I just knew virtually, on social media. So it was nice to put a name with a face.
Putting faces to names is always fun. And I'm sure Chris relates to that pretty well, especially when people think that I'm Pelo Buddy or you're Pelo Buddy and not Chris. It's Chris. All right, awesome. Well, I'm glad you had fun. And I guess
it was a great time.
Berlin is up next, and that's just in 2 weeks.
20th through 22nd, or 21st through,
So Berlin is in a couple weeks, and then I guess London will, close it all out.
Yeah, so, and while that was taking place in New York, they actually had a trial weekend of rowing for members. This was the second time they've done rowing for members, the first being the All for One weekend, and I was lucky enough to get an invite to that. So I went up there and I took a row with Alex, and I was just going to share some quick thoughts of what the studio is like. There's 8 rows in there. So it's in the strength studio, so it's kind of the same setup. You've got 3 on each side, and you've got 2 in the front. There's actually no form assist on the rowers in the studio, so if you've ever been looking for that 100% form score, you're guaranteed to get it in the studio. It's also set up so that you cannot see or give high fives. So if someone is high fiving you, you're not going to see it. I guess because they don't want you trying to reach out there while you're trying to do the row class.
Be distracting, to
be distracted. It is auto set up when you log in. It will be set to your pace target. So if you've got it set to level 6 at home, it'll set up with what they're calling out for that. So that was a nice little convenience thing. That's just kind of the quick overview. You take, at least the day I was doing it, that you take pictures upstairs where you do after a running class. So I know sometimes for strength, they might take them in the studio. But for this day, all of them were going upstairs and taking them at the running spot, kind of outside the showroom up there.
Are the rowers in the in the studio, Chris, do they have the full-size regular tablet attached to them that they have at home, or are they a smaller version like on the bikes in the studio?
It's not. It's pretty close to the full size. It's definitely not the tiny one. So it's close to full size. That from my doing it, I didn't bring measuring tape, but it seemed like it. So it's pretty close to a normal size that you'd be used to.
Okay.
And I did notice, I do think the neck is slightly different. I didn't notice the butt end where you can fold the screen down if you're standing it upright. There's a little button you can fold the neck down to kind of tuck it in. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't notice that on there. So it looks like they might be using a slightly different neck to hold the monitor in the studio than they do in the home version. The one other interesting thing that I just realized is I know when you're on the bike or the tread and you take a studio class, when you're done and you look at your stats afterwards, it says studio tread or studio bike is the device you took it. Right now, the row doesn't say studio row. It just says row. So there's no kind of differentiator there to do that. The other nice thing is depending on where you're sitting, they basically put the instructor's screen up in the front of the room, so the instructor has a big version to see as well. But the nice thing is it actually shows what's upcoming in the class. So, you can see the whole structure of the class plan coming up on that big screen and kind of just know where you are if you're wondering. Because Alex's class was intervals, and it was not the easiest workout. So if you're just wondering how many intervals are left and you forget what he said, you can look up there and be like, oh no, we still got 4 more intervals coming up.
Or you can take a leap, you can peek and see what's next on the playlist too.
Yeah,
just like London and the strength.
Yeah, and you also it also showed all their class notes up there, and it was kind of you could see that some might have more class notes than others and stuff like that. So it's just an interesting peek behind the scenes there.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you got to do that, Chris.
But yeah, and hopefully they're going to open it up to, everyone soon. And that's kind of what it sounded like. The invite said, this is for people who were first to order the row. And it's kind of a trial before we open it up. So hopefully before too long, it's just going to be one of the regular classes that you'll be able to jump in, and everyone who wants to will be able to take those in person. So looking forward to more people being able to check that out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
All right, clearly I'm doing something wrong. Chris gets invited to row classes. John gets tickets to, Peloton on tour. I don't know. I gotta get my voice bigger.
I will say this was the first event at PSNY I've gotten an invite to, and I do think I've ordered it before Peloton actually posted that it was available for ordering, because I had been keeping an eye on it. So I'm pretty confident I was one of the first. He
had his bots refreshing the website hit links.
Well, you know how I feel about all of that, Chris. So you should be invited to everything.
No, it was great. Yeah. So it was great to check it out and meet members up there. And yeah, it was a great experience. So
was Alex Karwoski totally enamored by the fact that you're Pelo Buddy? Starstruck?
Maybe a little bit, but his brother was in there, so I think he was a little more. So that was cool too. For those who don't know, his brother Nick works for Hydro and has been teaching for Hydro for a while. But Alex will lots of times share stories about growing up and his brother, so it's kind of fun to be in there and have his brother in there too, and kind of see his brother's reactions for some of the stories that Alex was telling. And I think Nick was racing Alex, but Alex can see Nick's output, but Nick can't see Alex's. So it was kind of an unfair race as they were going on there. So, but you can tell there's some friendly sibling rivalry going on there between the two of them. So, but it's great to see them interacting as well and all that.
I love that.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
And you did Matt Wilpers, so you did Alex and Matt for Row?
Yeah, there was I was sticking around before I left, and somebody no-showed for that class, so I was able to jump. I wasn't booked for it ahead of time, so I was able to jump in there at the last second, the last person in the studio before they locked the doors, and take Matt's class as well. So both were great.
And do they do pictures in the Row studio after, or do you go out to the P?
Were you not listening, John Prewitt?
What
said that they went upstairs.
Oh, okay. I glossed over that.
You were still in Peloton on tour world.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll be the normal, but at least this weekend, there were 4 rowing classes. Everyone except Ash had a rowing class that Saturday. So Katie had one as well, and Adrian had one in the afternoon. And Ash was doing an event in person in Ohio, so I think that's why all 5 of them did it. But 4 out of 5 had classes that day, and all of them, I believe. I know all except Adrian's. I'm not sure whether Adrian did, but I know for sure the other three were all upstairs at the P outside the showroom.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Nice. All right. Well, moving on. It is official. Peloton and Lululemon's collaborative apparel collection has now finally launched and is available on Peloton's apparel website. The collection includes 33 items such as bras, leggings, joggers, accessories, gym bags, backpacks, and it's available in all various colors. The collaboration follows, as you all know, the recent announcement of the global strategic partnership between Peloton and Lululemon, where Lululemon became Peloton's primary apparel partner and Peloton became Lululemon's exclusive digital fitness content provider. It is interesting to note that some items in the collection have already sold out shortly after the release, demonstrating that there is a strong interest from the community. But I will add that there were some very disappointed members because apparently the sizing of the Peloton launch really did not justify the community in its fullest. And there were definitely some, justified unhappy members that weren't able to purchase stuff, which...
So they not have a lot of larger and smaller sizes?
I think the biggest they went to, I think, was at 12 or 14.
12. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
What's the largest women's size normally that they go to a Peloton apparel?
So I think that is the larger size. I haven't, am I wrong, Chris?
I was seeing something that some of the Lulu stuff goes up to 20. Okay. But just for whatever reason, this set didn't. I could be wrong on that piece, though, so...
it's so interesting, though, because since Peloton's, apparel had become, so easily accessible over the last couple of years, I had stopped buying Lulu stuff. It's expensive. Yes, Peloton stuff's expensive too. But, the Lulu stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm going to spend my Peloton stuff. I'm not going to wear Lulu. So I had not bought a Lululemon piece of clothing in probably 2-3 years. So it was interesting. So that's why the question about the sizing, I'm not sure because I'm all over the board all the time.
Yeah, I know in recent drops, like over the last year or so, the community has said that they felt that Peloton has really made great strides at making it more inclusive, being open to a wider size. Just a wider group of sizes, and that was a concern when the Lulu thing was announced, whether it would be a step back, and people were hoping that based on the last year or so, that might not be the case, but from this first drop, it does seem to have taken a slip back. Now, people are hoping that this is a first limited drop, maybe the second drop might be have a more bigger size range of sizes. I think the next drop might be in November sometime, so we might not have to wait too long to see. But from this first drop, it's not quite as inclusive as some of the other drops have been in the past.
So, John, you can give us firsthand, having been in the store and getting to see the merchandise. Were you impressed? Were you underwhelmed?
No, I was pretty underwhelmed. There wasn't a lot of men's stuff that really caught my eye. There was one sort of pink shirt. But it was more like sort of like that meshy, sort of breathable, like vent tech, whatever they call it, material. And I was expecting more like a soft dream blend type of fabric. Okay. So I didn't get any of it. Jackie didn't get any of it.
Yeah. I haven't purchased any of it either.
And a lot of the comments that I've noticed on social media seem people are pretty underwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
With such a high price.
But a lot still seems to have sold out somehow. So whether it's because it was limited quantities or what, there's people buying some of it still.
About that.
I think it's just the initial excitement. And probably not a whole lot of them. A lot of pieces were made. So
I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's good to know. Obviously, we'll keep you updated on Pelo Buddy when the next drop is going to occur, if we know ahead of time, so that you can be prepared. But I was just curious to know what your thoughts were, having actually seen it, in person. The instructors look great in it. And I think that is one of the flaws. One of the things about Lululemon is that they have always, kind of catered towards a slimmer body size. So we'll have to see if they can get that changed, with this collaboration.
Yeah.
All right, and rounding out the news, Kirra Michelle got to celebrate her birthday, sharing a birthday with my twins on October 10th, and Mental Health Day. I mean, how perfect for a meditation and yoga instructor to celebrate her birthday on Mental Health Day. But huge, huge happy birthday to Kirra. And hope you have an amazing trip around the sun. All right, John, I think we are going to go right into instructors in the news. All right, we are going to start off.
Do you have the first? Do you have the first one, or did you flip the script on me?
I do have the first one. I do have the first one. The lovely Emma Lovewell and longtime partner Dave Clark have announced their engagement, something we were all waiting for. Emma shared the news.
Something that everyone already thought they were married
because
they were all surprised.
Right. It was actually funny. I mean, I knew that they weren't, but it was funny that people were like, what do you mean they're not married? Like, not even engaged. People thought they were actually married, which was kind of cute. And Emma had shared the news on Instagram, posting pictures of the two of them in a beautiful woodsy location, with Emma proudly displaying her new engagement ring. And of course, the announcement follows the recent engagement of Maddie and his partner Evan. So I think we're seeing that next wave now of instructors that are getting engaged to be married, or that next wave of babies, with Kelly having announced hers. So that's really exciting.
Be interesting to see if Emma and Dave, if they just do a small ceremony or they elope. Because I don't picture her having like a flashy, extravagant wedding like, say, Christine D'Ercole had recently in New York City. Because I know Hannah Corbin, she and her husband, they just eloped. They just did a very, they went to like the courthouse.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that about them. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't have a big wedding or anything.
Years, though, right? They've been married for a couple of years. Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't have a big wedding and reception like, most of the instructors that have gotten married in recent years. Ali Love, yeah.
A 5-day wedding.
It's like a
5-day wedding.
2-week affair in Mexico.
Right.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, a massive congratulations to Christine D'Ercole, who won 5 total medals at the World Cycling Championship. So she was on the podium for every one of her races to receive a medal. She was a little quiet on social media, but when she posted about it recently, she said, "I made a decision not to post the last couple of days while each individual race in the match sprint tournament is over in less than 2 minutes. Managing one's headspace and nutrition in between rounds is like you're still actively racing." She said, "Now that the competition is over, I can share this. I have never raced as hard or assertively as I did this past week. I accomplished one thing that I set out to do, and that was to go through the wall. In moments when I thought I had nothing left to give, I kept pedaling. In moments when winning seemed hopeless, I continued to fight anyways. This was the goal, and the result was that I got to stand on the podium in every race I competed in, 3 silver and 2 bronze medals."
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, and I know she was battling. I know the first part of the week that she was there, she was sharing on social media before she went a little more quiet that like her Airbnb, I forget if it was an Airbnb or a hotel, but there's like construction outside, so she wasn't able to get a good night's sleep. She got locked out of the parking garage at one point. So there's a lot of extra stuff going on there she was dealing with as well. So huge congrats again to Christine on, her.
Where was the world champion? It was an indoor velodrome, right?
Yeah, in Manchester in the UK.
Oh,
Nice.
I thought it was in the States. I didn't realize she was over in the United Kingdom. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for her. And while we're congratulating, a huge congratulations to Rad, Tobias, Logan, and Mariana, who all finished the Chicago Marathon. Tobias had a very impressive time. I guess they kept it quiet,
he doesn't mess
about
around.
him. I guess they were, kept it quiet about him running. We didn't really know about it. I mean, did we, Chris? Until right before.
I kind of did, but I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of a late announcement.
I don't think
announcement.
Yeah, he was never officially announced as part of any of it because I don't know if it was visa issues or what.
I think also, well, no, because he was just, no, I don't think so, because he just ran a race in Colorado, that long Colorado
Right, but I'm saying
thing.
he popped over to Chicago and first, like, he was at the instructor meet and greet. Like, so he wasn't officially part of all that.
Correct.
So that's what I'm saying.
I think part of it too, I think why Peloton didn't make a big deal about it, he did not run for the team, the Christopher Reeve Foundation.
The shakeout.
He was fundraising for his own organization, though, so he was still running for charity.
Correct. But I think why Peloton didn't really kind of make anything about it is because I think he did this totally on his own.
Yeah.
But I mean, for folks that aren't aware, he ran 26.2 miles in 3 hours and 18 minutes. I mean, that is incredibly impressive.
What's that? What does that average out to time-wise per mile?
It is, I can tell you right now, it is they've taken that off. They had it on the app, what it was, but I don't see that on here anymore. They had the breakdown of the splits, but they don't have that anymore. Following him was the very impressive Rad Lopez. Rad ran it in 3 hours and 47 minutes. And I'm just looking on here, and I'm embarrassed, but I probably shouldn't say it out loud. I do not have everybody on here, so bear with me 1 minute. There we go. Our buddy Logan Aldridge completed his in, hold on, 3 hours and 48 minutes. So Rad and Logan were pretty much back to back. They pretty much ran it the same. Logan ran it in 3 hours and 48 minutes. And Mariana had, shared before she ran that, after having just done her egg freezing that she's been very vocal about, and just, hadn't trained appropriately, kind of decided to jump into fancy dress and,
she was
run
in a pumpkin
it in her
tutu, right?
Her Halloween little tutu, and just have fun doing it. And, we chatted after, and I'm so proud of her for just doing it.
And I can't imagine how tiring it was for any of them after doing all those events throughout the weekend. So I can see how any of them would have made the call to just have fun, Correct.
And I'm so proud of her that she did that. And she did share with me. She said, Amanda, Logan and I had gone off on Saturday to go pick up our race bibs. And we literally had like this very short window in between, events. And she said, we suddenly looked at each other and said, we haven't eaten. And how everybody kind of like carbo loads and gets themselves ready for a marathon. So it had to have been, I think the thought of Peloton doing the Chicago event at the time of the Chicago Marathon was great for those people that were not running or attending, a 3-day full on, unbelievably tiring few days. So,
and not Peloton related directly, but just a shout out. There was a new world record set at the Chicago Marathon as well. The first marathon under 2 hours and 1 minute. Sorry, the first officially sanctioned marathon under 2 hours and 1 minute. Kelvin Kiptum ran a 2 hour and 35-second marathon, which that pace comes out to a 4 minute and 35-second mile for 26 miles. So that's a 13.0 mile per hour pace on your tread. So that's
not human.
That's past the max speed.
Yes, that is past the max speed, but do it for 2 hours straight.
He has to have like I don't know, tiger blood in him or something. I mean, who runs that fast? It's crazy, because the next one came up at 2 hours and 4 minutes.
I mean, we have seen a couple years ago someone did go under 2 hours, but that was with pace car. It wasn't an officially sanctioned race. It was a dedicated event of them doing it, but it wasn't considered an officially sanctioned event. So this was the first time in like a standard race that someone has doing it. But now we're 35 seconds away from someone crossing that 2 hour mark. Who knows how long that's going to take? But yeah, that was a crazy impressive time this weekend.
Amazing. And lastly, shout out to Austin Curtis, who is Bex's partner, who ran it in 3 hours and 27 minutes. And of course, Tunde and Susie and Bex were all there cheering them on. There wasn't anything official from Peloton, but they, which I think was a little disappointing, but they did at least have, some of the folks that had been in town for the, Peloton on tour, and there were lots of members running. I
do think I saw somewhere that they did post what mile they were going to be at if people wanted to pop up. I think I saw that in passing, and just random. Speaking of Austin, I noticed he posted a nice little message in the Bex Beast group, kind of thanking the community on behalf of Bex and himself, just kind of for the support. So that's nice to see him post that message.
Very nice
as well. So yeah,
very, very nice to see. Awesome. All right.
Well, Cody has not really slowed down much in making the rounds of, with his book tour, with Peloton on Tour Chicago. He had posted this week on Instagram, he was at one of McDonald's corporate offices, being a part of the McDonald's crew with some other social media influencers. He posted a bunch of pictures, one with Grimace, with Ronald McDonald, with different, food items. He said, his little caption, he didn't really say much about the experience. I wish he'd actually given us some more detail. There wasn't really much to the post. All he said was, did you know 1 in 8 Americans have worked at McDonald's? Which is a pretty wild statistic. But, he shares in his book, if you haven't read it or listened to it, his first job when he turned 16, when he was legally able to get, his first job, was to McDonald's. He had his application. He says how much he loved working the drive-through because that's where the money was, and he really turned it there. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, he did point out that it was a paid sponsorship of some sort, because he did have that hashtag ad in there. So it does seem to be some sort of partnership between the two.
Because normally I always see, if it's a paid partnership, up in the top left-hand corner by the Insta, it'll say paid partnership with.
I think legally you have the choice to do that, or if you put hashtag ad or some sort of hashtag partnership, you can go either way. So it just depends on the situation.
I did notice there was another person who was there at the event. I went over to their post about it because they actually gave some more detail about it. And it's somebody named Chef Harold Villarosa. I guess he's he's a chef for a living, but he said the lessons I learned as part of the McDonald's crew helped me become the chef I am today. And then he's got the hashtag ad. He said it was a long time ago, but I still remember learning to navigate the kitchen and mastering the basics, like building a Big Mac. So I'm not sure, maybe these were all former McDonald's employees at some point or other. That was the connection, obviously.
That makes sense.
Bringing them in. Yeah. But then also Cody posted recently, he had given the keynote speech at Google, at the Google office. He said, today I gave my first keynote speech for Google, and I didn't even have the highest GPA in the room. Again, there was just one little picture of him, and there wasn't a video or anything about it. So maybe we'll see more on social media in the coming days that we can mention further about it.
Nice. And then Ben and Leanne were invited to Bloomberg to have a fireside chat for World Mental Health Day. Leanne shared on her Instagram about how her and Ben have struggled, obviously, this past year, and having a space to be open, honest, and vulnerable in conversation about mental health and wellness has been very important to them. So that was kind of nice to see them being acknowledged there.
Awesome. And Alex's book, Activate Your Greatness, was officially released this week. If you haven't picked up a copy, I just added it to Audible because it's on Audible. He reads it. I've only gotten in the first chapter, but it basically starts out, he's 12 years old and he's in basically the admissions office of the military academy in Missouri, where he went to, where his parents kind of shipped him off to at an early age to avoid, they were worried about him getting in trouble on Long Island where he grew up. Um, but it's already starting off kind of funny because he says as his parents were leaving him in this office, like he said, he could see his dad smirking as he was walking away. And then he could see how the admissions person, like the military general who was speaking to his parents and him in the office, how he was so like polite and cordial, how like that totally shifted to when his parents left and like, he starts barking orders at him. So I'm really looking forward to delving into the audiobook after listening to Cody's, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
By the way, but that's out now, so be sure to check it out.
My copy arrived on Wednesday, but I really enjoyed listening to both Ben and Cody, on Audible. So I definitely am gonna do it on Audible.
And Alex had his big book launch party, right, at PSNY.
He did. He had that he had it at Irving Center on Wednesday night.
I think I was just going to say, I think that was considered like the official big event. Like all the Peloton instructors came out. Several of his other partners were there. He kind of had a section where he was thanking everyone. And as part of that, he thanked the Feel Good family, his Peloton community. He gave them a shout out. So this was kind of felt like the official celebration and release where everyone was able to come who was in the New York area. So I think he had two events this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. So a lot of the community got to see that and meet him this week.
He was
and
in
he's
Long
got
Island.
Other stops planned.
He was in Long Island. He was in Long Island on Tuesday night.
Yes.
So he was in Long Island Tuesday night, Irving Center. He was supposed to be in DC tomorrow, for Saturday, excuse me, and this past Saturday, and that was canceled. So I'm not sure why. Yeah, I was going to go originally, and then
at a bookstore.
Yeah, Politics and Prose is a big bookstore down in DC that typically will do these events, and I was disappointed that it was canceled. So then for a minute, I thought that I was going to go up to New York on Wednesday and go, and go and see it. The tickets were expensive; they were $87, and that didn't guarantee you a meet and greet. Not that I see, I've seen Alex before, but I would have loved to have gone. And then obviously in the wake of everything, I decided, no, I wasn't going to drive up. So I didn't, but I'm looking forward to hearing it, to hearing the Audible of it. And then he was also, I guess we missed this, Chris, but he was also on CBS. He was on TV. So he had his interview, which was really kind of cute. And when he was asked if he is available, his answer was interesting. He goes, "No, I'm not available." He goes, "I am, achieving my greatness right now and focusing on that." So that was kind of.
I thought it was sweet. I don't think maybe you and John Mills mentioned it last week, but I thought it was really sweet at his book event at PSNY. I loved how his mom surprised him, how they showed her sort of backstage and walking up on stage.
So if you watched the show, you would know. But John Mills was there, and John said he saw his mom and knew his mom, and he said he's so glad he never broke, because he spoke to Alex before his mom came out, and he said he was so pleased afterwards that he didn't say to Alex, "Oh my God, I just saw your mom. Like, where is she?" Spill the beans. So Alex, is on the road and busy with this, and very excited for him.
Catch him at a city near you.
No secret how I feel about him. He's awesome. All right. Well, Matt Wolper, somebody else that I think is just so amazing. He shared his insights into his holistic approach of well-being and fitness with U.S. News, the health portion of it. He emphasized the importance of consistent morning routine, adequate sleep, and physical therapy for preventative pain management, which I actually thought was very interesting. He shared that he utilizes tools like sleep meditation and wearable fitness trackers to optimize his sleep and overall health. He also says that he values lifelong learning and continuous improvement in fitness, engaging in various athletic pursuits and challenges, that his approach to fitness is deeply intertwined with his lifestyle, using athletics as a tool to manage life stress and maintain a balanced state of mind. So it was a great article.
I like that, Dennis. I've noticed they've been sort of doing these little tips the past couple weeks from the Peloton corporate like fitness gym.
Every Friday, I think they're doing them.
Fridays, yeah.
Very cute. Yeah, awesome.
Well, rounding out the news, Jess King recently posted that she DJ'd an event at Meta. She said, your girl is on tour. Well, not yet, but I did join Meta last night for their living room event in LA, and it was perfection. She said, I got to DJ to a room full of creators, many that I follow and admire, a few at One Peloton members, and even saw my dear friend and fellow SYTYCD alumni. I don't know what that stands for. Chris, do you know what that is? It's a college
so you think you can dance?
Oh, so you think you can dance. At HOK, whoever that is. She said, my heart is so full. Thank you for having me. I'm more inspired than ever to hone and own my DJ skills and make memories with you on the dance floor.
Nice. All right. Well, folks, I guess that wraps up the instructor in the news. We will go right into picks of the week. We don't have that many this week, so we will run through them. John, do you want to go ahead and start?
Yes. So first up, Leanne Hainsby's 30-minute pop ride from October 5th. We got this from Sue FT12. She said she taught this class just before her event at PSL announcing her apparel for breast cancer awareness. Such a special class. Give it a try. And then Matt Wilper's 45-minute Power Zone Max ride from October 7th. Got this from Anastasia and Chin Up Buttercup. They said this class was amazing. We need more classes like this. Great structure. Love the Max workouts. And then Alex Karwoski's 30-minute intervals row from our own Chris Lewis at Pelo Buddy. That's also from October 7th. Chris said Alex's first live row with members. Fun to see his brother there in studio too. Good workout for a PR as well.
Awesome. And then Jess Sims, her Saturday 60, the Tread Bootcamp was a Caribbean theme. It was from October the 7th at noon. And this one came from Dippin' Dot 22. They said her Saturday 60 classes are always tough, but great, and really enjoyed the Caribbean playlist on this one. Jermaine Johnson's 30-minute hip-hop run from October the 8th. S. Velda recommended this one, and they said JJ's energy was so great during this class. And then Ali Love, her 30-minute country ride, also from the 8th of October, noontime. Simply Spring recommended this one, and they said, fun, great country playlist.
All right, Hannah Corbin's 30-minute bar class from October 9th. Got this from Amy MS Chalk and Amarjar 3. They said great full body workout. And then Camilla's 30-minute Feid. What'd you say?
Feed ride.
Feed ride from October 9th. Got this from Kevin K22. They said great to see Feid there in person. Just a fun class with the interaction between them. And then Ben Aldis's 20-minute World Mental Health Day ride from October 10th. Got this from Ina Murdoch. They said amazing class from Ben on an important day.
And then following on with those mental health day classes, Kirra Michelle had a 10-minute World Mental Health Day meditation, again from the 10th. The Kirra Koalas recommended this one. They said good message from Kirra in this class. Kendall Tools 10-minute shadow boxing class from the 10th. Amajar 3 recommended this one, and they said really great inspirational class for World Mental Health Day. And then Kristen McGee's 30-minute yoga flow, also from the 10th. Tunda Holmes recommended this one, and they said awesome and joyful playlist to a flow focusing on happiness and play. It was a great way to start the day energized and smiling.
Thanks. And sticking with meditations, Mariana's 15-minute mindful walking meditation from October 10th. Got this from Spin, Run, and Wine. They said these new walking meditations are so great. I hope they add more. And then Kirsten Ferguson's 30-minute hip hop run, also from October 10th. Dippin' Dot 22 gave us this one. They said good workout with some sprints, uphill jogs, set to Drake, Rick Ross, and more. And then Katie Wong's 30-minute disco row boot camp, rounding out our picks of the week from October 10th. Got this from Violet Divides and Midwife Lexi. They said fun playlist, and some new people got to try it since it was on Tuesday instead of Monday. Take it just for Katie's song lyric of "Gimme, gimme, gimme, a ma'am after midnight."
Is
ma'am her cat?
Cat's ma'am.
Yep.
Her cat is ma'am. All right. Well, I thought it was going to be a quick show, and
I know,
guess
right?
there's
Hour and a
always
half.
stuff. I mean, there's always stuff we have to give you. So again, thank you so much to everybody for tuning in and getting to hear everything that's happened in the Peloton world this last week. I appreciate having the opportunity to share this with all of you, and I look forward to seeing you, please God, next week.
And from here in Atlanta, I'll see you next time.
And for me in Michigan, thank you as always for tuning in, listening, watching from all over, and we will see you on the leaderboard. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.